So it is 8:30 on the dot. We have actually been utilizing this Busy Moms group on Wednesday nights, coming and bringing you guys different live topics to help with just what this group is called, helping busy moms take back their health. And this is designed to give you guys strategies for exercise, nutrition, and all things wellness to help you guys improve your health. That is our mission. We want to provide simple solutions. You guys that may not be aware of a little bit about my background, I'm Amanda Villarreal. Myself and my husband, Art, we live in Zealand, and we have 5 children ages 19 down to 5. So we 100% understand busy, and my health journey started many years ago that I had started to look for solutions for myself. And that brought me into the journey of heading into corporate fitness and wellness, getting my degree in that, and many certifications, including nutritionist, personal trainer, health coach, and put all this into practice to really helping to teach people strategies that are safe, that are effective, and we avoid things that we know are not going to give us long-term results. We want to be focusing on our long-term quality of health, guys. That's what this is all about. So as again, we're walking through this, I would love to guys, have you guys commenting, sharing, would love to hear from you. So, all right, guys, so kitchen prep time. Let's get going here. So one of the very first things that we start to do with anytime we bring home our fruits and vegetables, I will tell you guys, with the big family, our probably go-to for most of our fruits and vegetables is Costco. But again, if you are just 1 or 2 people, buying in bulk is probably not your best option unless you can freeze some of it. But we tend to go to Costco a lot. Now, when we bring our stuff home, one great strategy for a lot of your fruits and vegetables is to be sure to wash them right away. Now, oftentimes things like apples, I will bring home, I will put them in the sink before anybody actually eats them. And so when they grab them, they might not know it, but they're already washed, but they can rewash them. But we want to make sure that we try to make sure we get pesticides and herbicides and things off from the skins of our fruits and vegetables. And you guys that are joining in, guys, welcome. Feel free to say hi. And again, I would love to hear from you guys as we're moving through this, to hear from some of you. So one of the things that we do now, this may sound kind of crazy for some of you that are not familiar with Shaklee. Shakley's products are all non-toxic, but one of the things that we love to do is use this something called basic H2. Now you could put a few drops in your sink full of dishes, or in your sink full of fruits or vegetables, and just rinse it off. I'm just going to show you guys here real quick. Here I have some grapes. And if you guys can see here, there is some like white residue. Now, I a lot of times will just grab here. This is the basic H2 mixed up as an all-purpose cleaner. You use a 1/4 teaspoon, and we can use this for other things, but we can also rinse this off here. Now, I'm just showing you guys here. I'm just spraying this. And now, generally, I would just run this underneath water, but you will actually see here the white disappear. We don't want to be eating, right, the pesticides. We need to remove them. So I highly encourage you making sure that you do rinse your fruits and vegetables. And also, you know, sometimes bugs and other things that get in there, we sometimes are not aware of. So that is one great tip, guys. Wash your fruits and vegetables. Eat things like lemons. And, you know, if you look at them, they'll have a white coating on them. Watermelons, cantaloupes, we still wash them, because when you're cutting through, you can still contaminate the inside with your knife. So I do encourage you guys, wash your fruits and vegetables. All right, so let's move into our next topic when we're talking about tools here. Okay, there's lots of things that are available for kitchen tools. And one of the things that is a must-have option for us is a blender. And I'm considering myself, luckily my husband is very nice and lets me try lots of different blenders, because I feel like I'm very picky, and we have tried many of them, but Vitamix by far has been our favorite. Unfortunately though, the current model we have is very loud, so I'm going to mute this when I run this, but having a blender is a great idea, because you can use this for so many different ways for fruits and vegetables. Now, with the Vitamix in particular, you can add different, for example, we can add like an organic chicken stock. We can throw in there like celery, carrots, and we can turn that into a soup. We can turn it on, run it, and it will make it into a soup. Or what I'm going to show you guys right now is nice cream. This is a great way using fruits and vegetables to be able to have a simple treat. And I told the kids they could have this after I was done. So this one just has in there frozen organic cherries. We have a little bit of almond milk, and we have some local honey. And this will turn into actually an ice cream. And I am going to mute this really quick here, and I'll show you what this texture looks like here afterwards. Okay, guys, so I unmuted this here and I just want to kind of show you an example. Now, you can also add ice to this. You could mix up the texture, but as you can see, this is solid. It's not going to come out. So this is, again, a great way to use up, fruits and vegetables, and to have, just some different options for even just textures for some people that maybe like to actually eat versus, having a smoothie. You can turn it into something like an ice cream with using different frozen fruits, vegetables, and oftentimes adding ice. That will be another great idea. Throw some ice in there to thicken it up. But again, having a good blender, guys, I would say that's one mandatory tool. Now, another great idea that is something that we use a lot is called a mandolin or some type of slicer. And I'm just going to kind of show you guys here this real quick. So I just have some carrots in here, but the time to cut these versus to quickly slice these, this is a Pampered Chef one. But you'll also see here that if you choose different settings, you can cut them different shapes. So for these ones, these are just, like little matchsticks for carrots. But this is a great way to quickly chop, shred, slice. You can do all different things. And again, this is one that we got from Pampered Chef a long time ago. And I do use this one a lot. Perfect for slicing potatoes. And I do think having a good slicer, because again, yeah, some people like to cut a lot, but after a while you get tired and you can do a whole lot more and faster with something like this. So again, this is a staple in our kitchen, is having a mandolin or some type of slicer. And we've gone through different options. And so far, that has been one that we have really liked. So, and again, guys, as you're watching here, feel free to add any suggestions you guys have here too. Now, fruits and vegetables, we can make them so many ways, right? I just gave you some ideas of throwing them in a smoothie. We could slice them, dice them, put them into, our oven. We can roast them. We could use our Instapot. We could use our slow cooker. We can use an air fryer. And I think this is one of the things that we all need to keep realizing is if we're not liking fruits and vegetables, maybe we're not making them the right way. So what are more options and ideas that we can do to utilize solutions to make things easier? Now, another thing that I tend to do, and we're talking a little bit about tools here, is we just had a watermelon tonight. And this is a really simple way that I never thought about this actually until one day I was cutting it into squares. So my husband was like, why don't you use an ice cream scooper? And I was like, what a great idea. So using a melon ball or an ice cream scooper, it really helps to have them more in bite-sized pieces. And it makes the process go so much faster than sitting there and cutting into slices. So for melons, guys, this is a great idea. An ice cream scooper or a melon ball scooper. I know some people like to cut them. You can also, if you've ever done the YouTube, you can check out how people slice the watermelon. You can cut it into and you pick out a piece of it so it stays all intact, which is great. But for us, with having so many kids, it's easier to a lot of times just have it all cut up and then they can take what they want as needed. And that's how we tend to eat more of our melons. So, all right, guys. Also, I wanted to mention for things that you might be adding in, okay, to increase the nutritional value. What would be some things that we could add in? We can always add in things, for example, for a thickener. I pulled out something here. This is organic coconut milk. And sometimes we will throw this actually into different soups. You can add it as to make things creamier into your smoothies. I'll put this into our smoothies a lot. But a really great idea is sometimes, you don't use the whole can of this, or maybe you just want to have it available for a quick, healthy fat option to throw into something. Is I'll use a lot of these silicone trays and put in here extras of sauces, Greek yogurt. I'll freeze them in these little silicone trays so we can pop out a cube of Greek yogurt and throw it into our smoothies or for making something. And again, it's a great way to not let things go bad. So, it's good to utilize other options of things we might not forget. We also have different shapes of these silicone tools. And again, these are fun to make your own, bagels, make your own donuts. You can, do a lot of different options with using kind of the newer options for different silicone things that are available. There's also smaller ones you can use for making mini bites. We'll do mini brownie bites in those. But again, makes it easier for us to have solutions that can fit into whatever our family's needs are. So another great idea for an add-in, sometimes I know people are a little bit leery of what would be a good way to sneak in our 5-day veggie challenge that we're having right now. I've had a few comments, a few messages saying, I just can't eat things like kale. So if we can't eat those things, it's a great idea to find options, right? Because as we're eating the colors of the rainbow, we're trying to get all those valuable nutrients. If we only eat yellow, for example, we're going to be deficient in so many nutrients. And that is why they have actually found that 1 in 3 Americans are deficient in up to 5 vitamins and minerals because we don't eat how we should as far as getting in. And even if we tried, unfortunately, our fruits and vegetables are just not as rich in nutrients as they were many years ago because of our soil being depleted. So this is where sometimes knowing supplements that you can add can be a big benefit. This one that we throw into pasta sauces, I will put this into, like if I'm making a lasagna or a spaghetti, I put this into the sauce. Nobody knows it. I even put it in oatmeal. This little container here, this is called an organic greens booster. But this scoop in here is super tiny, but you can actually get an equivalent of 1 cup of kale, broccoli, and spinach in this one little scoop. So we just add a little bit of this to whatever it is we're making, including smoothies. Every day when I make our morning smoothie, I always add in 1 to 2 scoops of this. So it is a great way to, again, make out 1 cup of green veggies right off the bat, which again, has totally different nutrients than if I was adding things like oranges. And also you have to remember, guys, vegetables, for those of us that, if you're like me, vegetables, I'd rather have fruits any day, but vegetables, guys, we really need to appreciate the alkalinity of vegetables. And if we're eating all fruits, it really can affect our glycemic index. And we want to be able to stabilize our blood sugar levels. And this is a great topic for us to be thinking about, our options that we can have that provide our body more alkalinity. So using Super Greens Booster, great idea, guys, to throw in. I'll warn you, it doesn't smell real good, so I wouldn't smell it, and put it in things that you can hide the flavor of it. So I wouldn't, our oldest son had this idea at one point that he would try to just take a scoop and eat it without putting it in something. It wasn't really good, and he will not try that again. So you want to mix it in something and not just try to eat the powder. So, all right, great, Cheryl. Glad you just ordered that. Hope you like it. You can find some ways to utilize that. So here's some other ideas that, again, I just thought would be helpful to give you guys an idea of something that we do a lot of. And these are protein bites. I make these once or twice a week. My daughter makes them also. I have our 5-year-old Arthur. You're waiting to take one off the tray. Oh, okay, Arthur, go ahead. But these are a great way to store them. Is I put them in a cookie sheet, and actually they go in the freezer just like this. They will be in our freezer. And yes, the kids grab them, but I can also put them in lunches and they stay cold and will help to keep your lunch cold when they are frozen. So that is a great tip. Store your protein balls on a cookie sheet and they are ready to go at any time. And think of, too, guys, you can even add in fruits and vegetables into a lot of your protein bite recipes. Believe it or not, we'll do sometimes dried berries or dried fruits. These ones have raisins in them. So great way to sneak in pumpkin. That's a great one to put into protein bites. So there's a lot of ways that we can mix up besides just having to sit and eat these things to implement them into recipes. Now, there's also something in these ones that these have in there, something called cacao nibs. If you've never used cacao nibs, they are a super high antioxidant. They look like a chocolate chip. They're very crunchy and they give a great crunch to protein bites, but it's a superfood, has tons of nutrients, including magnesium in it. And we're going to have an upcoming challenge group coming up. It's called the Metabolism Makeover. And we're going to talk a little bit more about things like cacao nibs. But guys, these are great variety of options of nutrients we could throw in. We might not be aware of, right? Some of us, I feel like we just get in a rut and we always do the same things, and that's just normal. But we got to keep trying to educate and learning more things that we can share and utilize to enhance our health here. So another idea I thought I would share, that I do this with a lot of my clients actually, is when they struggle with snacking, like if they are cooking in the kitchen a lot and they have a hard time not eating as they're cooking, or they like to try things, they sample as they are eating. Hi, Arthur, is to chew gum while you are cooking. That is a great tip. Chew gum while you're prepping dinner here. So, Arthur, do you need something?
need a glass.
You need a glass. Okay. Let me know if you need help. All right, guys. So again, great tip. Chew gum as you are cooking and thinking about, as you are eating stuff, as you are preparing food, guys, a lot of calories really add up that way. So we want to kind of be thinking of as we are prepping foods that we're not continuously, sneaking bites and trying different things. So welcome you guys that are just hopping on. Welcome Rose, welcome Linda. So again, guys, there's a lot of things that I just shared with you guys. Another thing is when we are storing our foods is to kind of get away from using, plastic bags. I shared this in one of the videos we did a while back on Costco finds and ideas. And we found these at Costco, and these are reusable bags. And these work so well. We've been using these for lunches, but also when I have a little bit of something left that I, in the past, would maybe grab a plastic bag for, this is so much better. And I can wash it out and they dry there, working so well. So I encourage you to look at having fun ways to store things can even make your food more fun. So finding, again, reusable bags, having stackable dishes that you can put on top of each other. Glass dishes we prefer for storage because we don't want plastic leaching into our foods if we're going to be storing it for very long. So look at different ways and things that we can have available to prepare ourselves for options. And I would love to hear from you guys. If you guys have some of these things too that you've maybe thought about in the past or something that you use. Carla, we found these bags. They were over by, if you guys are familiar with the Costco in Wyoming, they were over by the books, kind of like over by next to the clothes. They were over there and they were in a box. And it's pretty neat. They have all different sizes of these. So there's big, small, medium, and they were actually really cheap. I want to say they're maybe around $12 for 14 of them, I believe. So yeah, I don't know if they're online, but we found them in store. So I actually wish I would have bought more here. So, and as you see heads walking by, they are sneaking the protein bites. I told you guys they're that good. So this is a great thing to keep available at all times, is having protein bites. Another thing that I would encourage you guys is finding, for example, like different measuring spoons. I meant to grab one of these to show you guys. Things that you can quickly grab and have readily available all times instead of having to digging through cupboards. This is something I've been working on, is simplifying. And these also came from Pampered Chef, but I love them because they're adjustable. So when I need to measure like a teaspoon or a tablespoon, it is all built into one just by adjusting, the centerpiece. This part actually pops off so you can wash it very easily. But these are also great for meal prep time when you need to just, I need a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, that I can grab this versus having to dig through all of my measuring spoons and find something. So check out these adjustable measuring spoons. This is a great tip too. So, all right, good guys. Any other questions as we're coming close to the end? We try to keep these Zooms to somewhere around 20 minutes, guys. And again, every Wednesday night, I've been bringing you different topics. If you guys have a suggestion, something you might like to learn or hear about, if this was helpful, I love to hear from you guys, because that always is encouraging to know that the information we're bringing you guys is bringing value and you are learning. Now, one last thing I did want to mention, guys, when we are meal prepping and we are cooking, spices, herbs, we've kind of talked about this a little bit in our fruit and veggie group right now, but also sauces. Sauces can be a great way to add flavor to things. One of our favorite sauces we like to use is something called coconut aminos. It is a great natural soy sauce, and it is perfect for vegetables. We do put that in a lot of our vegetables. So be careful of things that have a lot of, for example, sodium in them, that you can find alternatives that will give good flavor. Same with seasonings, read your labels and make sure there's not of other ingredients added, sugar and, too much salt, obviously. So we can utilize a lot of herbs to change up our flavors. So Carl, you just asked ideas how to cook squash. I generally I cut it in half and I put in the Instapot. That is what I have found to be the easiest way. Add about a cup of water and I set it for about manual 10 minutes and it cooks squash amazing. Now, some people prefer to cut it in half, roast it in the oven. But I figure, to me, the Instapot is the easiest way. And I guess it depends on what type of squash too, but that works well for spaghetti squash, acorn squash. We've used it pretty much with every type. And that's been my favorite way, is just to put it in the Instapot. So hopefully that helps. And we do potatoes in there too sometimes. You're right. All right, guys. Anything else? Any questions real quick before we go? Again, I hope this was helpful here, guys. And as we are closing, just a reminder, we're going to be heading soon into our, oh, good idea, Kristen. I did not mention that, guys. Adding, yes, some of these things into muffins. That is a great sneaky trick. Yes, summer squash and muffins. It's a great idea. Zucchini, obviously, a lot of people do, but yes, great tip for squash. Is to think about, guys, if you're looking for further accountability, again, be watching for information soon on our metabolism makeover. But you guys are rocking this challenge. You guys are doing our 5-day fruit and veggie reset. I appreciate it. Yes. And make sure, guys, we are trying to think about balance as we are creating our meals. Remember, fruits and vegetables are a piece of this, but we do want to make sure we're having the right protein, the right healthy fats. We are trying to eat more whole foods. That should be our focus. And, you know, it's all about baby steps, guys. So don't get frustrated. You have a bad day. Maybe you mess up one day. It's about the changes we can implement long term. So, all right, guys, thank you. Good to know this was helpful. You guys take care. We will talk to you very soon. Have an amazing night, everyone. Thanks.